Thank you, Mark Nicholas. Yes, we're at the Analyser, brand new Analyser, upgraded by Windows 10 and custom made by our Wide World of Sports team. So we've got some new devices, touchscreen devices and what have you to play with. And we're going to look at some key players for both sides. And I think it's really important that we start with a very key player from an Australian point of view, and that's the Australian captain. Let's go to the Australian squad, Steve Smith. People have said he's under a bit of pressure. His captaincy's under a bit of pressure. Well, I don't believe that. I think he's been in terrific form with the bat, and also his captaincy's been very good. And those numbers tell me, Michael Slater, he's a fine player.
Well, look at the stats. They're unbelievable, averaging 58.5, and the average is better as captain. So as a leader, he performs better. Don't forget that. So I agree with you. He is a key man for the Australians. South Africa want to see the back of him.
Well, he has a technique very much his own. He likes to do this big shuffle across his crease before the bowler is bowled. Here it is, the one big step, and then a little shuffle forward, and he gets in a position where you can see a lot of the stumps. You can see a lot of leg stump here. And what that does is it draws bowlers to bowl that line wide of off stump.
Well, they really start to try and target that, don't they?
But what he does, he can cut and he can also drive, as he does there. And when they do start to get a little bit straight to him, he works the ball on the inside because he doesn't fall over. He has a slightly bottom hand grip, so he likes to work the ball to the leg side, and he also uses his feet very well to the spinners. So he's an all-round cricketer. Like anyone, you can get him early, but if you don't, he makes big scores, big hundreds for Australia.
Yeah, he's got a quirky technique, and I'm going to South Africa, and I'm going to start to look at a guy who's just been doing it unbelievably well for a long, long time. And his stats don't lie, and they're going to tell us exactly the same thing as Steve Smith, but he's played for longer. Look at that, overall, an average of 51, but that's after 94 test matches. Hashim Amla is an unusual player. The way his technique is, it's a little bit back and across like Steve Smith.
Absolutely. And what he does, he scores against all opposition. You see some batsmen around the world who tend to beat up on the sides that don't have as good a bowlers. I've looked at Hashim Amla's statistics. He's got a very good record against all the good test-playing nations, around about that high 40s, 50-mark average.
Well, let's have a look how he moves his feet. And it is also, where we point out this back and across movement, he's not as far across as Steve Smith, but he doesn't do much from there. The feet don't go too much further. What he tends to do is he moves back and across into position. That head will stay still and there'll be a little shuffle. Doesn't move a lot. The other key to his batting is his head. And when we say head, it's because he keeps it still. He keeps it in a really nice position, and his hands, well, they're a blur because he's so quick through the ball. He's an experienced player, he's a dangerous player, and word has it, he analyses his game more than anyone in world cricket. He also uses his feet as well as anyone, and he's looking to get on top of the opposition bowling. Just on
Hashim Amla, do you reckon he's changed that a bit? I reckon he used to have a bigger step across his crease. Now it's not quite as pronounced, and that big loop he had in the back lift is not as pronounced as it was a couple of years ago.
Well, you know what he'll do? He'll bat today, and whatever happens, he'll be with the Analyser tonight, absolutely critiquing his game, and he'll make another change in the second innings if he feels it needs it. So just in finishing, the two guys that we've highlighted, obviously there are other great players in the team, but these are the stats that I like. Test runs in 2016, that's why they're highlighted. 509 to Smith, 563 to Amla, and look at those averages.
Yeah, and I reckon that battle in that middle order, Warner and Smith v Amla and Duplessis, that could well decide this series. Well, that's all from us down here at the Analyser. Thanks, Michael Slater.